I am one of your hosts, Graphic Raiders. Salute to the greatest chat in YouTube history. Whether you're watching on my channel or Darcy's channel, or you're watching later on Ben's or Jake's, we appreciate you guys so much. Also, salute to everybody watching on Twitter, man. We have a really great following over there. If you guys want to get involved with the chat, jump over to YouTube on my channel, Darcy's channel. It doesn't matter. Salute to my guys, man. Darcy, how you feeling, bro?
I'm doing fantastic. You know, I mentioned it in the pre-show that I'm actually wearing a Vegas shirt, but it's because we win Super Bowls in Vegas. Something that you guys wouldn't actually know because you've never won a playoff game in Vegas, but we've won Super Bowls in Vegas. So.
Comes off the top rope right away, Graf.
Hey, we're talking to Raiders fans right now. We got to set the tone early.
Nasty work. Salute to Jake, man. How you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling good, man. I mean, a little bit of some storms up out here where Ben and I are at, but you know how Ben is, man. He can't get out there by himself. He's literally got to run and hide whenever the lightning storms and Jim Harbaugh and the rest of the crew coming into Denver. But hey, you know what, Darcy? This is part of the reason why that even if that radio show on 810, it ain't got nothing on 920, right, Graf? You ain't never putting the Chiefs in front of it,
brother.
Hey, I'll tell you this right now. We got more viewers in this chat right here than anyone listening to AM or FM radio right now. So.
That is
right about that.
Yo, hey, real quick, man. I wanted to save Ben for last for a reason here, okay? So, you know, usually Ben is always like, my boy Graf, man, he always has kind words for the fan base and, and all that good stuff, right? So I see him put a video out, you know, on his channel the other day where he spoke, you know, really
truth. I spoke truth.
I want to ask you because your main argument on that video, right, was about the Raiders losing 4 starters on the defensive side of the ball, okay?
And already being a pretty bad defense last year.
Well, look, we were good when we weren't beat up. Okay, we were beat up. Max Crosby gone, Christian Wilkins gone, Malcolm Kuhn's gone. I mean, come on, like that's tough. But I have to ask you this, man. What was your reason? I felt like you were just doing a video just to do a video because are you seriously worried about the Raiders losing Divine Diablo?
No, I was pointing out the fact that the Raiders lost 4 defensive starters, and I think that's a legitimate fact, man. And
you mentioned Nate Hobbs, and you went to all the PFF.
Nate Hobbs is good, like very good. Yeah,
hey, Nate Hobbs is my guy. I love him personally. I think he's a phenomenal football player when healthy, but he's rarely healthy.
Yeah, we talked about Robert Spillane.
Yeah, dude, and Robert Spillane with a black visor, terrible. I'm so glad I don't have to play him again.
We'll be fine. We'll be fine with the Landon Roberts.
I hate to say it, but if the Raiders lost 4 starters from a bad defense, that's actually a good thing, Ben. Like that, like if you have got a bad defense, if you get rid of 4 of them, I mean, how's it going to get worse?
But here's the deal: y'all had that bag to give out, and you didn't give it out to anyone that we know. Like that's
what do you mean?
I don't tell me.
Hey, hold on. Do you guys know a guy named Max Crosby?
Yeah, but he was there last year for most of the season.
Okay, but I mean, he's a superstar. We took care of him. Are you, Ben? If you have all this cap space, and this is no knock to Spill, I love Spill to death. Once a Raider, always a Raider. Are you paying him $38 million?
I mean, he's your captain, man. And Vrabel.
Are you paying Spillane $38 million?
Vrabel did. And
are you paying Trayvon Merrick?
They also paid Stephon Diggs. That's not.
But you also need to understand they got plenty of money in the bag that they needed to form a team. It's different than when you got it. Like, look,
that's a good point.
There's a difference between spending money to build a team together that you know is right for the chemistry than spending so much money because he's a name.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
And Spill wasn't a name until he became a Raider. Let's just keep it. Nobody knew who. Well, let me say
Patriots spent the money because of the name, not the Raiders. The Raiders
kind of spent the name.
Vrabel coached him when he was an undrafted kid and has always loved him and said he embodies the Patriot way.
You could pay for $38 million. You could literally get up to 2 or 3 players to fill in for those spots even more than just one.
Well, Jake, let me say this real quick. You know, Ben loves the PFF thing, right? He loves the PFF thing. Like
I do.
He goes to his videos, you know, this PFF and this PFF. So they actually just dropped an article, you know, the top quarterbacks in football. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Oh, no. Hold on.
At 22, that was blasphemy.
Let me get my shit off real quick, Ben. Okay. Salute to my brother, Ben. But no, we're not going to do that. We're going to go ahead and do this. Okay. So salute to the chat and everybody.
Oh, I see who's right there.
Hey,
I'm him.
Hey, Darcy, and rightfully so, right? Rightfully so. But I'm looking, I'm like, oh wow, well, PFF, Ben lives by this. He lives by PFF. Well, I'm looking, Patrick Mahomes, number one, right? Elite. Agreed. Burrow, agreed. Lamar Jackson, agreed. Josh Allen, agreed. Right? You go tier 2. I think they got it right. Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels had a phenomenal rookie year. Matthew Stafford has won a Super Bowl, and he's been a phenomenal player his entire career. You go Justin Herbert, Jake, your guy at number 8, right?
Look at that for everybody in the back who doesn't think Justin Herbert is a top 10 quarterback. Look
I'm
at that.
trying
guy.
to squint. Did it have his 4 interceptions against a pretty bad defense? No, not on there.
But look though, tier 3, solid starters with flashed high-end play. Got Jared Goff right there. Then you got Geno High Stakes Smith. They're at 10. A guy that you live. Look, once again, Ben, this is your Bible right here, the PFF. Geno Smith is here at 10. You got three quarterbacks in the AFC West in the top 10. Then we go Brock Purdy, Jordan Love, Baker Mayfield, CJ Stroud, Kyler Murray, Trevor Lawrence, Dak Prescott, Tua. Then you go to 19 and you have Bo
There he is.
Nix.
That's blasphemous, dude. I mean, Bo Nix was Bo Nix was
It has to be generous. He's a second-year player.
Bo Nix was top 6 in passing yards. He had more touchdowns than Patrick Mahomes. He did that without a tight end, without a running back. This is blasphemous, and PFF isn't a Bible by any. I think I only use it when it supports what I'm trying to argue.
You only use it when it's sitting on the other team.
My words exactly. Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
I just wanted to throw that out there to start the show. My brother Ben put up a video the other day, and I seen it, and I just said, I can't wait to just
I did say that you had the best offseason in the AFC West. I just think you were further down and have further to climb. But I did say you had a way better offseason than the Chargers and the Chiefs, and I said that in that video.
Okay. Yeah. Salute to our brother Ben. He just got cooked. Three starting quarterbacks, top 10 according to PFF, and there's another one at 19 below the likes of Tua and others. So I love to see it. Salute to 2 for my guy. Darcy, you about to be unceremoniously blocked with that Las Vegas shirt.
Blocked!
Yeah.
Ben,
this
yes.
does not feel good.
Salute to my guy, Kid Raider, man, becoming a member as well. If you guys want to become a member, hit the link. It's pinned up top. It definitely helps us keep the lights on over here at OLV Raiders Network. We're going to have some fun today, you guys. We're going to talk about positional rankings. We're going to go across the offense and the defense. We're going to go by. We're going to talk about every guy at that position. We don't need to go in super detail about backups and so on and so forth. We're talking about starting units, okay? And we're going to start here because PFF, Ben, I mean, hey, the quarterback spot, right? I mean, we could talk about the backups, Patrick Mahomes now has the GOAT, Minshew out there in the fold, backing him up just in case something happens. Boogers will be thrown with Minshew out there. You got
I just want to win a Super Bowl with him. That's why.
Bailey Zappi and Herbert's out there. We know what Herbert can do. He's had an up and down career, but once again, Herbert's still young. The measurables, he's a prototypical type quarterback. When you see him, that's the kind of guy you say, I want him to be my quarterback. 100%. Got Geno Smith. A guy, most improved player of the year in 2022, led the Seahawks to the playoffs, has 2 Pro Bowls under his belt. Bo Nix had a great year last year. I'm not going to take anything away from Bo Nix, but I'm going to start here with Jake, man. How do you feel in terms, and we're not going to talk about the backups. We'll just talk about the starters here. How do you rank the 4 quarterbacks in this division from 1 to 4, 4 being the worst?
Well, I mean, you can't really move out Patrick Mahomes out of the spot. I mean, he is obviously the pillar of not only just top quarterback in the AFC West,
NFL,
AFC, and the NFL as a whole.
Yes.
So, I mean, it starts there. To me, Justin Herbert, I would rank 2. The only reason that is because, he's barely a turnover-prone machine. The guy could throw the ball smart. I mean, 4.2 biology major student. The kid could literally do no wrong with the football. And even with the season he had with 23 touchdowns and 3 hits,
he could do some wrong.
One playoff game, 2.
All of his playoff
all
games.
of them.
All of the all the above.
Just remember who scored the most points in the playoffs, Ben. I mean, 7 to 12. I mean, come on, bro. Like, we scored more points than Broncos.
Bunch of first-round losers.
You also threw more pick sixes than both. Yeah. Okay. Continue. Jake, the floor is yours. Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I'd say him at 2. Geno Smith, respectfully, I would put it 3 because seeing his resurgence, and this is why I had to get a reaction out of Ben for this one, is because seeing his resurgence through his career and what he's done up in Seattle, like Pete Carroll unlocked the part of Geno Smith. I mean, you could see the percentage of his, like you can see the quarterback rating when he's in play action.
Yes.
That's the stuff that Pete Carroll loves. So he controls like time management, and at the same time, he's smart with throwing the football. He doesn't always have to throw more than 35 times.
Jake, 85.8 passing grade in that span, according to PFF, Ben, just 0.2 points shy of Patrick Mahomes.
Yes. And now, the reason that I would put Bo Nix up at 4 is because not only did he have a very impressive rookie season, I would agree to that, but it's only been 1 year sample size. So if I see this second year, because it could account to anything. We know sophomore slumps are prone to happen, but if he actually builds off of the year that he had in his rookie season, there's argument that you can mix that up. Yeah. You could obviously put him up into the 3 spot, but as of right now,
you can put
Mahomes,
him in the 2 spot.
Herbert, Geno, and Bo Nix.
Darcy, go ahead, bro. Let me hear this foolishness from you, man.
Number 1 is obviously the best quarterback of all time in Patrick Mahomes. So when we're doing,
there's a guy named Tom Brady that works in Las Vegas right now. I
said the best, not the greatest. But are we talking about who is going to have the best season, or who is like right now?
Yeah, I want to clarify that. Are we talking like you get them now for the rest of their career? Are you saying like to win one game? Are you saying for this
We're
season?
talking about right now.
Right now. Ooh, well, right now kind of changes some things up a little bit. Right now, I'd say, and this is actually not the direction I was going to go at all. I would probably say if we're doing this right now, it'd be Mahomes, Nix, Herbert, and Smith. But if we weren't doing this, if we're just doing this as in who I think is going to have like the best season next year, I think it goes Mahomes, Herbert, Nix, and Smith. I think Geno's not, but here's the thing. There's not a big difference between Nix and Smith. They're kind of the same. Like, I don't want to say they're the same, but there's not a bad quarterback in this division. So they're all pretty close, but I could see, Bo Nix having a little bit of a sophomore slump just because, he is going to have more tape out on him. But I also think that like Geno's going to elevate a little bit from what he did in Seattle. Definitely. Herbert's the big question mark for me because like, we kind of know who he is at this point, and you've given him offensive talent. Now, you haven't given him a ton. You just got him a running back. You just got him a wide receiver. So maybe that changes. But, like,
receivers,
until we see it, like, I would probably say I'm going to go Mahomes, Nix, Herbert, Smith.
That is disgusting.
Nope, we just won because that's my exact quote, bro.
I'm kind of appalled that you would put Nix up there before Herbert, considering the fact he's lost to Herbert twice.
But even then, Herbert, they've got the same amount of playoff wins. Herbert and Nix have the same amount of playoff wins. And if you want to like just go off roster, Denver did not have a better roster than LA last year.
Geno has the same amount of playoff wins as both those guys as well. Just
all right, well, that's why they throw them in there. Throw them in there. They're kind of the same. They're the same players.
Yeah. Ben, go ahead, man. Okay. Well, you said the same, right?
Okay, so Patrick Mahomes, I hate him. My least favorite player in the NFL, but got it. He's number 1. Yeah. Number 2 truly is Bo Chapman Nix. He was 6th last year when it comes to throwing touchdowns in the league, which is a pretty important stat. Your guy, Geno Smith, was the number 1 intercepted quarterback in football last year.
No ground game in one of the worst O-lines.
Dude, no ground game. Kenneth Walker is like better than any running back. The Broncos
he missed a ton of games.
He had to trust Zach Charbonnet to end up running.
You got DK Metcalf, Lockett, like that offense.
No O-line. He's still at 4,300 passing yards.
That I think it comes down to you get the ball in the end zone and do you not turn it over, and that's Geno Smith literally is the worst at turning the ball over in the entire game last year with incredible wide out talent around him. Bo Nix was 6th in touchdowns without a tight end, and in his rookie year, this is his first time in his career going all the way back to his first year at Auburn that he's had continuity between his offensive coordinators across years. He is going to go off, and he's definitely Herbert maybe is better than him this second, but I would take Bo Nix on this contract over Herbert straight up right now.
Last year, I think Bo Nix easily
did have a better season than Herbert.
So right now, Mahomes,
but
Herbert, or Mahomes, Knicks, Herbert.
You could take that Bo Nix beat him in college at Auburn all day when we literally
talking about last year, bro.
Okay, but you guys are taking away from the now. Okay, look. I understand the Geno Smith slander. 21 touchdowns, 15 picks. That's nasty out there in Seattle. He's going back to Vegas, right, where he plays great indoors, one of the best quarterbacks indoors in football. With Pete Carroll, a guy that was the one to unlock his potential from day one. He has Brock Bowers, the best tight end, Darcy, in football. You know, I mean, he went out and got Genty, who's going to be a generational running back. He has a real ground game now. This offensive line is very underrated. You bring in the likes of Jack, and this is unproven, but I love Jack Besh. I love Dante Thornton. I think Jacoby's one of the most underrated football players in the NFL, not just at his position, but one of the most underrated football players in the NFL. I mean, come on, man. Like, let's not act as though we're talking about the now. We're talking about the now. The now. When you look at the existing rosters, do you understand that Genty's going to make Geno Smith's life so much more easier? It's going to make his life so much easier. Let's not do this. Let's not do this. But I have to agree with Jake's assessment. It's Patrick Mahomes, it's Herbert, it's Geno Smith, and then it's Bo Nix. Because once again, we need to see him replicated, Ben. I'm not taking anything away from Bo, but we've seen the sophomore jinx. It is real. It has happened a lot. CJ Stroud kind of came back down to earth last year. There was a ton of things that happened out there on that offensive side of the ball that contributed to him struggling, right? But once again, it's football. Hey, you gotta roll with the punches. You have to deal with what you have at your disposal. Bo is a phenomenal quarterback, especially in year one. He has to find a way to replicate that this year. And he has some more weapons, but once again, Darcy hit the nail on the head here. There's tape on him. And we know in football, once you get some tape on somebody, now we know what he looks like, not only as a quarterback, but in Sean Payton's system. So now we know what to look for and so on and so forth. I don't think anybody outside of Ben and a few of his subscribers thought that Bo Nix was going to have that massive year last year. I mean, honestly,
not even Ben.
Ben didn't even think that. I truthfully think, because a lot of people, you got to remember, Graf, a lot of people looked at that pick at 12 and they thought that was a reach for Bo Nix, which I think was completely ridiculous. Because to me, it screamed Sean Payton at the end of the day. But what you're dealing with right now, Ben, and the fact that the Broncos were the third team of all the AFC West teams to make it into the playoffs, you now have this narrative on the back of your minds that you are favored to potentially win the division. You know how pressurizing that is?
Yeah.
That's why Bo Nix cannot afford to be subpar. He can't.
Yeah.
So
I think
what's
to
better, having high expectations to win the division or being a situation like the Chargers where, you think you've got the talent, but you don't have the expectation to ever win it.
But here's the difference, though. He's going into his second year. Whereas for Herbert, he's going into year 6. He's
he's going into year 2 under Jim Harbaugh.
Under Jim Harbaugh, yes. But he's calloused himself in this league long enough now. This is why, because the expectations for both those quarterbacks is that Herbert is hanging with that playoff performance last year and the back of his head. He cannot afford to fail. Otherwise, and Graf, I'm telling you all this. I have been dealing with everyone on the outside that completely crucify this man because of 2 playoff losses, the fact that he's thrown for 4 picks, and all the rest of this other stuff. I am waiting on the day he wins his first playoff win.
I think you're going to be waiting a while, but just watch.
Silence all of the credit.
We'll say this before we get to the running back position. I think most teams in the NFL, most teams, I mean 20-plus teams would love to have Herbert as their quarterback. Regardless, I love Geno.
Daniel Jones has won a playoff game.
Yes, he has. But once again, he's still really young. He still has time to turn things around out there. I think Harbaugh's building that thing up the right way. It's going to take some time to put it all together. But once again, Herbert is a phenomenal young quarterback that at times you look at him and you're like, this is what we're getting. It's like, come on.
But you got to remember
that Greg Roman's a terrible OC.
I was just going to say that.
100%. I lean all of this on Greg Roman if he cannot get this right. You now have a backfield. You can't screw this up. Because the minute you do, no, I'm serious. Like,
you can't blame it all on him, though, because
Herbert's throwing the ball less than any other time in his career. Right.
He is a former quarterback, but the difference of it is that now that they've addressed wide receiver and running back, like he's finally starting to understand we need to get better on offense.
Okay.
So now that we have that, Greg Roman, the floor is yours, dude. We can't afford to do all these out routes and like all this check downs, all this stuff, and we don't put points up on the board. We didn't even put up that much amount of points last year.
Let's get to.
Could I say one thing?
Go ahead, brother.
The sophomore slump, right? Because we hear it all the time. I think typically when sophomore slumps happen, you start to see it the year before. And I just want to point out, not only was he top 6 in scoring last year, if you look at the last 10 games of the season, he was top 4 in EPA, and that's even going into the playoffs. The only guys above him were Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Jared Goff. So typically when you start to get figured out, you get figured out real quick. And as Graf says, quick and in a hurry or whatever.
You get figured out too.
Yeah, and Bo Nix didn't get figured out, and he got, he's
Bo Nix is the next RG3, Darcy. It's happening in live and living color.
That's a great example. Like RG3 started falling off before his slump season, and Bo didn't fall off at the end of the season. He got better. So we'll see.
The only thing that happened with RG3, man, is his ACL fell off. That's it.
When we talk about RG3's wife and just weigh in on it.
And you're dealing with arguably public enemy number 1 as an owner in Dan Snyder, bro. Like,
yo, one word, Ben, and we'll get off the milk.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Let's get to the running back position, you guys. We're going to start here with the Chiefs. They still got Pacheco, right? And at times he looks like a great running back. And then at times he doesn't. You got Kareem Hunt, the veteran, still on the roster. You went and made a move for Elijah Mitchell, brought him in as your third back. And then you got Rashard Smith, the young SMU guy you guys brought in the 7th round, I believe, Darcy?
Yeah.
Then you got the Broncos, right? Who, even on paper last year, I'm like, they have a great running back group. It just, Sean Payton would just not commit to the run. But once again, RJ Harvey, a sneaky addition. You got Audric Estime, a guy that I'm a Notre Dame guy. I love him. I think that he could be special at the next level, but it's repetition at the running back position. You guys know this. You got to get the reps in order to be able to run the football. Jaleel McLaughlin. Then you still have Tyler Batty, the guy out of Missouri that you took. The Chargers, they definitely upgraded that room this year. They went and got Najee Harris in free agency on a 1-year deal. Amarion Hampton, my guy out of North Carolina, which I think he's going to be a stud. You got Hassan Haskins, former Michigan Jim Harbaugh guy, and then you got Kamani Vidal. Our Raiders, had the worst ground game in football last year. Well, you know what? We said at 6, we're going to take the best running back available, probably the best running back that you've seen in the past how many years in the draft. Ashton Genty. We went and got Raheem Mostert in free agency on a 1-year nothing deal. He had a phenomenal 2023 year. Last year, injuries derailed him out there in Miami. You got Sincere McCormick, my guy, as the third back. Had a nice little stretch of football last year before the injury. Then you got Zamir White and Dylan Laube. Darcy, let's start with you here, man. How do you rank this positional rankings in the AFC West?
I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys the Chiefs have the best running game or the best running back room in the division, but we're not the worst. I would go Chargers, Raiders, Chiefs, Broncos. And I think the Broncos have a strong case to be the worst because they're not going to run the ball at all. And guess what? Even if you guys do, I don't think you're going to run it very much. And coming from a Chiefs fan, we don't run the football. That's saying a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think that Bo Nix is going to throw a whole lot or run a lot next year. And it's kind of evident by what they did this year. And granted, they didn't have RJ Harvey, but there were times this year where, Sean Payton would have Bo Nix throw the ball 57 times in a game.
I remember it very clearly.
We covered that every step of the way. Like, why is he out there as a rookie throwing the football?
5-6 different running backs, and you couldn't even figure out one.
Yeah, dude, and Bo Nix was leading the team in rushing through the first 5 games of the season.
That sometimes can't always be a good thing.
I know. I'm not saying that as a good thing. Yeah.
I'm going to go here, and maybe I'm biased, but I believe that Ashton Genty is going to be a stud. We got Raheem Mostert. He is 33 years old. He's a one-time Pro Bowl guy. Had a phenomenal 2023. Sincere showed promise last year. Zamir struggled mightily last year, but who didn't in that running back room? We still got Dylan Laube, our second-year guy out of New Hampshire. Still waiting to see if he'll get some reps here. I got the Raiders number 1 because of the addition of Ashton Genty. Number 2 is up in the air for me. Well, you know what? It's not up in the air. It's the Chargers. Yeah. Najee Harris, he's played every game his entire career. He's had over 1,000 yards rushing all 4 seasons in Pittsburgh, even with that really up and down O-line. I got the Broncos at 3. Odrick, RJ Harvey. I think Harvey is going to be a stud at the next level. It hurts my soul to say that, but I like that room a lot. I still think, you got a guy in Tyler Betty that hasn't really gotten a ton of reps, but he's a guy that I liked a lot coming out of college at Missouri. Chiefs, once again, Darcy, you kind of hit the nail on the head, though. You guys don't run the ball a lot. You know what I mean? So I do like Pacheco. I think that you guys got a sneaky running back group. But once again, I think you're 4th in this division because Genty, Marion Hampton, Najee, you got Harvey and Odrick. I don't think that you can even put yourself above any of these teams. And if you do, it's nasty, nasty work.
I don't think Odrick should even be in the conversation. Like, he wasn't good last year.
Oh, bro, he ran all over you in the game that we should have won with a blocked field goal.
Yeah.
Well, he did. You could not stop him. He's literally like stiff arming.
Stopped you when it truly mattered.
You didn't stop Audric Estime. You blocked a field goal, but you didn't stop Audric Estime.
At the end of the day, didn't win the game.
I think the Chargers are going to commit to the run a lot this year. You've seen it early on last year before.
Nasty.
Yeah, I think they're going to commit to the run, and they got a phenomenal O-line. We'll get there here in a second. I'm not even going to waste y'all time. That's the best O-line in this division, clear cut. I don't think there's not even a debate for that. But, Jake, how do you feel about the running back position?
I mean, I'm with you on that one. The way that I would rank this is I would have the Chargers up there because of, one, they are accounted for their offensive line with how much that they've addressed that. And with having both Najee Harris, who's available every single game, every season, and Amarian Hampton, who just brings that power, elusiveness, and a little bit more of speed. So I like that. But another running back, like I told you, that could make this cut would be Rocket Sanders, because that kid could give you a little bit more speed and be that specialist when Jim Harbaugh utilizes him. So I could see him make that cut. Honestly, I've got it a little different from here. I'm going to put the Broncos respectfully on the 2nd spot, and the reason why of this
over Ashton Genty.
He played on a blue field,
I understand with Ashton Genty. I really, really do, because and I'll tell you why when I get to it. But the Broncos, you're basically implementing the similar style as what the Chargers did with their running core before they changed this up. You're going to have Audric be your power back to start with, to show the physicality against the defensive line. And then there's RJ Harvey with all of the elusiveness and speed that he will carry. Now, the other thing is, too,
he's a brutal running back as well. I don't think people realize that he's a physical guy as well.
And the other thing is, too, you've got Jaleel McLaughlin that can literally come in and be burst of speed when nobody expects it. Yep. So that's the part that I did, because I saw that in person. When I went and watched you guys play against the Panthers, I was like, this is perfect for them to use that with Jaleel McLaughlin. Now, 3 for the Raiders is because I know I love Ashton Genty. I do. Boise State kid. I love him. But here's the thing. He's got a ceiling and a floor. The ceiling is he does a replication of what Josh Jacobs did in his first year.
That's his ceiling?
He may come out. He may come out, and if not,
that's the floor.
Yeah.
He may even produce more.
That's the floor.
But the floor of it, dude, is like he's.
Bro, let's not forget Josh Jacobs just got his first receiving touchdown of his career last year in Green Bay.
Oh no, I understand that, and I
know he is great in the passing game. Last year they treated him like a workhorse, but the year prior he had over 600 yards receiving.
But you also got to remember too, because I've looked at your guys' schedule, and there's a lot of physicality in that schedule.
Great.
Look, I watched watching through Genty. I'm not saying some of these defenses he's came across in college were not physical enough, but by the time you got to Penn State, dude, I'm telling you,
he still had over 100 yards.
He still did have 100
couple fumbles.
I'm telling you, dude, you gotta keep security out the ball.
What did he do to Oregon?
Oregon.
You remember that? I mean, he had like 200 yards, 3 touchdowns.
I remembered that game clear as day. I mean, we had a chance against the damn Ducks.
Ben, do me a favor, Ben. Clean this shit up for me, please.
But in the end, I got the.
He's gonna say something ridiculous.
No, I'm honestly not. Denver Broncos are 4 at this point. I have
correct.
All of the stock I have bought on RJ Harvey, and if RJ Harvey hits, I think he jumps the Chiefs. So I think it's Broncos at 4 because of unproven. Like, we haven't seen it yet. We haven't had a 100-yard rusher since Latavius Murray. Would you guys even remember Latavius Murray was a Bronco?
I do.
That's ridiculous.
Hey, Darcy, I don't know how young you were when he ran for like 80 yards on you guys that Thursday night when we didn't win one game in Derek Carr's first game, and we whooped y'all ass. I remember Latavius Murray, the L train, very, very.
We're talking before COVID, the Broncos had a 100-yard rusher, so that's 4. But I think if RJ is who Sean Payton says he is, then we're going to be better than the Chiefs. So then it's Chiefs at 3, and then if we're going on like my bet on it, it would be that Ashton Genty is the best running back in the league, but he isn't proven yet. And Najee Harris 1,000% is proven. And Marion Hampton, same thing. We don't know yet. Like if I had to pick which running back room I would want the Raiders. But right now of like, who am I confident to go win me a game? Let's go Chargers, Raiders, Chiefs, Broncos.
You know, we got to do this though, Graf, when it comes to Marion Hampton and Ashton Genty.
But they're the same. Like both of them are unproven, and Najee Harris is better than.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we also got to see rushing yards, receiving yards, and scores like rushing touchdowns. Who's going to have more than the other? I think that would be a fun tale to tweet.
Well, you shouldn't assign Najee then. That's
what I'm saying, dude, for sure. And then Ashton Genty could be Emmitt Smith, Christian McCaffrey. Like it could be terrifying. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
He will be. Yeah. Let's get to the wide receiver position. I think we all upgraded, in this room this offseason. The Raiders, I'll start here. We got Jacoby Myers as our number 1. I mean, honestly, he hasn't been a number 1 up to this point, but last year he was kind of thrown into that role where he had his first 1,000 yards as a receiver. You got Dante Thornton Jr., our speedster out of Tennessee. Trey Tucker, who's been really good for us, but hasn't really broken out yet. Had some really bad quarterback play. Our former 3rd-round guy out of Cincinnati. We got Jack Besh, our 2nd-round guy out of TCU, who I think is going to be a stud for us. I can continue to go down the line of all these backups. I'm not going to do it, but we brought in also Tommy Millott, another guy to Montana State that's going to be transitioning to the wide receiver position full-time for the Raiders from the quarterback spot. Julian Edelman 2.0. I like this room. I think it's a sneaky room. KC, you got Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Sky Moore.
Jalen Royals.
Yeah, Jalen Royals. I hate it. Juju's back in the fold. I'll throw a couple sneaky guys out there. I know you're not that big on Justin Ross, but I like Elijah Badger. This is a guy that from my city, I think he'll be a stud. He had about 800 yards receiving last year for Florida, even with a terrible offense where they had just a never-ending rotating door at the quarterback spot out there. They struggled. But Badger is a guy that can play on the inside, outside, play special teams for you. I think that's a sneaky pickup for Kansas City. You go to Denver, Cortland Sutton, Troy Franklin, A.T. Perry. That's a guy I was really high coming out of Wake Forest. It just really hasn't worked yet. Marvin Mims Jr., more of a special team. He's all pro with special teams, right?
Yep.
You got Devon Vele, I think.
Yep.
I think this room is sneaky. Pat Bryant, your 3rd-round guy out of Illinois. And then you go look at the Chargers here. You got Lab McConkey, who had a phenomenal rookie season in the slot, former Georgia product. You still got Q, the former TCU guy who's struggled catching the football. Mike Williams back in LA. I know he has a ton to prove. Trey Harris, one of my favorite wide receivers in this draft class. Then you got guys at the end, Jalen Reagor, Brendan Rice, so on and so forth. Start here, Ben. What do you have with the wide receiving core here in the AFC West?
Oh, dude, I'm such a homer, dude. It's really hard because it's hard not to just say I think we're the best.
Outside of Kansas City, it's like we're kind of judging a lot of this on potential.
I mean, if I were to say like talent-wise, I think Lad McConkey might be the best wide receiver in the whole division, but he's the only receiver on that team that scares me. And when we did this, dude, Rashee Rice is missing half the season. Xavier Worthy is like 600 yards and can run one route.
Hey, Darcy, I found Rice's half his bumper on the toe wheel.
Yeah, it's just right. Yeah.
Yeah, like there's still remnants.
Write it for you.
Yeah, there's still remnants of Rice out
are
there.
hanging out. Yeah. So I think as a room, Sean Payton told Kay Adams, and we know you can only tell Kay Adams the truth. Like she's the truth serum. He told her before the draft, we actually feel really good about our wide receiver room, and then didn't make any moves. I'm high on Pat Bryant. I think Cortland Sutton is like a beast, man. I really do. And he's a high character guy. Mims was coming on strong. So I'd go us, Chargers, Chiefs, Raiders, probably. But if you throw Brock Bowers in as a pass catcher, like
we'll get there in a minute. We'll get there in a minute.
Yeah.
We'll get in a minute. Nah, but receivers. Okay.
Yeah.
What you got, Darce?
I don't even know why we're having this conversation. The Chiefs are here, and you guys are all right here. Like,
hell no.
If we want to talk about the best wide receiver class in the division, Rashee Rice. He is going to be a number 1 wide receiver this year.
How can he be a number 1 wide receiver when you're missing over half the games for a suspension and you're coming off?
Right. Yeah, I do not think he's going to be suspended.
100% he's going to be suspended for half the year.
Trust me.
Let's bet it right now. Bet it right now.
Half the season? You think 8 games? 8
games, yes, 100%.
I guarantee. I will bet. What are we betting?
Make it easy on yourself, young blood.
We'll figure out. We'll figure out the bet in the group
I
chat.
guarantee you, he is not getting suspended 8 games. He's closer to not getting suspended than getting suspended 8 games. We've got Jalen Royals, our 4th round draft pick. He's going to be our number 4 wide receiver behind Xavier Worthy, behind Hollywood Brown, who may not stay healthy. But let's be real. The Chiefs have the best wide receiver room in the AFC West. And I would say it's probably followed by the Chargers because I like Ladd McConkey a lot. I'd put the Broncos at 3. That's generous. I'd put the Raiders at 4. I think you guys just have so many unproven guys that.
Look, I'm not mad about that assessment. To be honest, we have a bunch of young, unproven guys that are coming into year 1, and we're expecting results immediately. So I agree with you.
Henry Ruggs when he gets out.
Darcy, can I just say one thing? Like you're so up on Xavier Worthy. Yards per game. Our 7th round wide receiver, who you were like, I don't even know who that guy is, averaged more yards per game than Xavier Worthy, and you still don't even know his name. So you can't be like Xavier Worthy's this great player. Hey, like Von Bailey's good.
Real quick,
finished with more yards.
Hey, hot take, real quick, you guys. Hot take, real fast. In the next 2 years, the best wide receiver in this division will be Jack Besh. Write it down right now,
dude. I love him, and I wish we had him.
But
clears.
But the Chiefs are the most proven room up to this point, regardless if one is out for 8 games, the other one's hurt, and the other one's gone for 4 games, and blah, blah, blah. They have Patrick Mahomes throwing them the football. So they're number 1. I love Ladd McConkey. I hated that he went to the Chargers. I think that they have a sneaky wide receiver group. I think they should maybe add another body there. It could be I wouldn't be look, bring Keenan Allen back. I mean, shit, bring him back home, right? Yeah. I would have the Chargers there at 2. The Broncos, I love Cortland Sutton. You know this, Ben.
Yeah.
But once again, a bunch of unproven guys in that room. I'm not a fan of Troy Franklin at all. I think that most of those Oregon guys struggle when they come into the league. It's proven. You look at the track record, they've struggled mightily. Outside of that big catch in the playoffs, I believe that, right?
Yeah, only time they connected deep.
And that's Bo Nix's guy. So I'll have you guys there at 3 because Cortland Sutton is probably more proven than anything that we have on this roster. I love Jacoby. I think he's literally, once again, one of the most sneakiest, underappreciated players in this league. But once again, he's only coming off his first year of 1,000 yards, and he'll be 29 this year. So I'm not going to act as though we have this superstar wide receiver. I think that Jack Besh is actually his replacement. He's on the last year of his deal. I'm not saying that they need to move on from him. Jacoby wants to be a Raider. He said it. I think it'd be right to bring him in, just depending on the price. But I love Dante Thornton. Him and Trey Tucker, that speed, opposite of, with Brock in the mix, that is going to open up this offense. Geno can throw the deep ball. He's a very accurate quarterback. But until proven otherwise, I have to put us at the bottom of the AFC West at the wide receiver. I just have to.
Well,
but
what's going to be crazy, dude, with Geno, all those guys could look better, and
definitely.
That's going to be, it's easy to dog on you now, but
hey, Trey Tucker is going to have a massive year this year. I'm telling you now, this is a guy in year 3, I believe, out of Cincinnati, former 3rd round pick. He plays on the boundary a ton. You can kick him inside. He's a speedster, but he's a physical receiver as well. This is a guy that I think he's gonna get with Geno real quick, real fast, and they're gonna have a rapport. I do believe at the end of the season, we're gonna have a different conversation. I think that the Raiders could be as high as number 2. Honestly, I do believe that. But right now, I got to keep it real. And I may sound like I'm contradicting myself because Genty hasn't played a snap yet, but I just think he's gonna be that good. I just think he's gonna be that good. And this is just a room where I'm like, it can hit, maybe it doesn't. So I got us at 4th. Jake, how you feeling?
I think, when I think about the wide receiver core for all 4 of our teams, it really is tough because the thing that we all 4 of us have in common is we have that one guy that's there, and then you look at the rest of them and you're like, how are the rest of them honestly going to pan out?
Yeah.
I agree with you there. I would put the Raiders there a bit 4, but I love with what I'm seeing with as far as some of these up and comers. I mean, Trey
Yeah.
Tucker and Jack Besh. You know what's funny is and watching Jack Besh's tape and seeing him up at camp, he kind of feels like to me he's gonna be put in those roles like I almost watched when I watched Jordy Nelson. Like he'll be put in that role, but even higher.
Yeah.
So that's why I think he's going to be probably.
And he's a very physical receiver, great route runner, loves the block. Like he's going to do everything that he does what Jacoby does. Like he's the great blocker, physical guy, great route runner. He doesn't have all the speed, you know what I mean? But once again, you know, game speed is different than actual running a 40.
100%. Yeah, and that's exactly what I tell like a lot of these guys when it comes to receivers, because a lot of them, they're so fixated up on speed. But then here I am of asking, what's your route tree? Do you have good hands, especially when you got to catch on open spaces or right in contention?
Oh, he's a former tight end, Besh. So
and that's the thing is that's what's going to be important because you're going to need to fight for those one-on-one battles. So 3, it's kind of hard because, honestly, I would probably put the Broncos up at 3. And the only reason of it is I love Cortland Sutton. Don't get me wrong. I really, really do. And I also do think they had the potential to sneak up and be a 2 because Devon Vele, where the hell did this kid come from as a 7? Seriously. Like that kid's got a lot of really good upside potential and you could use him on a lot of special packages. And as far as Troy Franklin is concerned, what is year 2 going to give me? I mean, year 1, you're broken into the league. You kind of had to get a lot of those jitters out, but now it's go time. Now you need to start, building that potential. The Chargers up at 2. Ladd McConkey really showed us a lot of what he's made of. But now it's you bring in Trey Harris. You now have Mike Williams in as a veteran receiver to help coach these guys up. And I know we don't like talking about Quinn Johnson as much on this, and I'm accounted for that too. But he did score 8 touchdowns. I will give him that. But this is the time where you get Trey Harris and Keandre Lambert-Smith as our special speedster out there in the deep ball. It's putting you on notice. I mean, I would have put this team at number 1 if Keenan Allen signed. Seriously. But for right now, I would put him up at 2. And I'm going to put the Chiefs up at number 1, only because a lot of it is accounted for where Patrick Mahomes sets these guys up. Okay. And going to throw, a lot of it is how they connect with some of these offensive schemes. And that's what Andy Reid is so known for, is he's going to put all those together. You could take a lot of those no-name, unknown receivers, and yet they're going to be instant impacts week after week. And that's because you have the best quarterback right now in the division and in all of football. That's allowing you to be that.
Ben,
so,
you already gave your Darcy already went.
Yep.
We'll get to the O-line real quick. Salute to everybody here in the building. As always, we appreciate you guys so much. Get those thumbs up. We will be live, you guys. We're trying to do this every Tuesday. So get used to seeing the AFC West family. We will be rocking every week. So
wait, we're going live? I thought this was a practice one.
Yo, make sure you guys go follow our brother Ben. Go follow our brother Darcy. Go follow Jake as well. They have 3 phenomenal channels. Make sure you support our guys, even though they're enemies. What do? We keep our enemies close, right? So you got to, man. So make sure you subscribe. Go over there, hit the thumbs down on all the shit that they upload. You already know what it is, man. Let's get to the O-line. Oh, no, not the O-line. Let's get to the tight end position. I mean, Ben, I think you already kind of know who the number 1 guy is. Evan Ingram, right?
Yeah.
Right. Well, look, we can kind of get this over real quick, real fast, and in a hurry. We got, Brock Bowers. We got a guy that is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer in Travis Kelce. And a sneaky guy. I like Noah Gray and I like Jared Wiley as well. But we got the Broncos. They went out and got their guy in Evan Ingram. He's already questionable right now, which is crazy on the ESPN app. It's funny. He's already questionable right now, Ben.
I just looked, bro. You're the worst. Come on.
Am I lying?
We're gonna see.
No, he's not. He's not questionable.
Oh, God.
He's not questionable?
No, he's totally healthy, bro.
Oh, okay. So he's healthy.
Yeah, he's like Hollywood Brown, just like he's always there. Oh gosh, come on. No, dude, ESPN, that's fake news. They're probably telling you wear a mask. They're like, mask up, guys, mask up. Just
he's already questionable.
Weeks to stop the spread. Come on, get that out.
Get ready for Lucas Krull season, right?
We got Evan Ingram, and then we got Will Dissly, and they went out and got Tyler Conklin as well. I'm gonna go first real quick. Brock, then it goes Chiefs, then it goes Denver, then it goes Chargers. Jake, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I honestly, I'm with it.
And we got Michael Mayer as well. Remember that.
Because here's the thing. Like, obviously Travis Kelce is going to be a Hall of Famer, no doubt.
Mhm.
Noah Gray, I mean, he's showed up in some of those areas where he's serviceable. I've yet to see a lot more from Jared Wiley, and maybe this year
He didn't play last year.
So that's why I'm hoping I will see more with him. Because when I studied his tape up at TCU, I was like, possession receiver, 100%.
Big dude.
Yeah. And he was honestly one of my draft targets last year. And the fact that Kansas City goes and gets him on top of Jaden Hicks, I was pissed about that for you guys. But you got good players. But I think, the Raiders with getting, Brock Bowers, we know what he is, generational tight end, and Michael Mayer, like that's probably the best tight end tandem right there.
Oh yeah.
So especially at their age.
One of them for sure.
Evan Ingram, like you've seen what he can do in Jacksonville. I think the Giants was just too wonky because there was so much going on. But once he unlocked his potential in Jacksonville, looks a lot better. I've seen Adam Troutman. I mean, look, the one moment that I've seen him with a one-handed catch, I was like, okay, he has some sort of potentials from there, better than Greg Dulcich. I mean, let's be honest. But the Chargers, I'm not mad at, and the only reason is because we haven't found our tight end. We don't know who it may be. Tyler Conklin, Will Dissly. I don't think it's going to be Dissly. But then we also got Arondi Gadsden. I mean, this kid could literally come up out of nowhere as a tight end receiver type.
Agreed.
He could be pretty good. And
agreed.
Yeah. So we don't know yet, but that's why I'm not mad at them being at 4. I'm not.
Darcy, what you got, man?
Raiders, Chiefs, Broncos, Chargers. Now, I will say the Broncos are not that far away from the Chargers, but the fact that you guys might have Will Dissly play football for you guys next year.
We haven't figured that out since Antonio Gates.
Yucky. That is yucky.
Yeah. I agree with you, Ben. I mean, we can keep this short, sweet, simple, man. What you got right here?
Yeah. Raiders, 100% best tight end in football. Chiefs, Travis Kelce, 36 years old, just doesn't do well, man. I would say if it's Space Jam, like aliens come, I got to win one game. I want Travis Kelce over Evan Ingram, but you're talking, I get him for the rest of the contract. I think Evan Ingram will have a better next 3 years than Travis Kelce, but let's go Raiders, Chiefs, Broncos, Chargers.
There we go. Let's get to the O-line.
That's the one we all only agreed on.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Hey, real quick, I want to shout out our punter as well. AJ Cole just signed a 4-year, $15.8 million deal. Best punter in football, 2-time first-team All-Pro. Salute to him.
You guys will be punting a lot, too, so that's important.
Yeah, he's not going
to. Bro, you guys literally locked in your second best one.
No, hey, one thing about the Raiders, we're going to have some great kickers. Historically, that's what we do. Let's get to the offensive line, you guys. We'll start here with the Chiefs. They made some moves in the offseason. This is their starting O-line right now if things started today. So Jalen Moore, left tackle, which I think Josh Simmons will end up being the starter there. You got, is it Mike Calindo at left guard, Darcy?
That's not a good sign.
It might be Kingsley Suamataia as our
Okay. So. Creed Humphrey at center. Then you got Trey Smith, the big franchise tag, got a ton of money to be the guy out there, and I know they're working on. Did they already sign the extension, or are they still working on it?
No, he signed the franchise tag.
Okay, okay. Well, I know he signed that, but I was wondering if they're going to work on an extension here soon. And then you got Mr. False Start himself, Jawan Taylor at right tackle. You go to Denver, bro. He's the Mr. False Start for real. Left tackle Garrett Bowles, left guard Ben Powers, center Luke Wattenberg, right guard Quinn Miners, and then right tackle Mike McGlinchey. Is that right, Ben? Would you call it like that? Okay. Yep. Chargers O-line. I mean, this is nasty. Rashawn Slater at left tackle. We got Bradley Bozeman at left guard. Zion Johnson at center, which Andre James will probably start there. Mekhi Becton at right guard, the big free agent pull in from Philadelphia. And then you got Joe Alt, who's going to be a superstar at the next level at right tackle. We can go to my Raiders. Once again, I think that we do have a sneaky O-line. They were getting a little better as the year progressed last year. We had a terrible offensive coordinator, terrible guy helping the O-line out. It was just nasty work all across the board offensively for the Raiders last year. But Colton Miller on the last year of his deal at left tackle, Dylan Parham at left guard, Jackson Powers Johnson, who's going to be a superstar.
He's nasty,
best
dude.
centers of all time.
Yep.
Barring any injuries, God, please just stay healthy, JPJ. At center, Alex Kappa, the veteran, comes in from Cincinnati at right guard. And then DJ Glaze, second-year guy out of Maryland, who looked really, really good for us, starting for us at right tackle last year. He was kind of thrown into the fire, and but he looked good. He'll be the starter going into year 2. Let's start right here with Darcy. I'm going to go grab another beer. How are you feeling about this O-line? It's on you.
This is so tough because I feel like if we knew who our left tackle was going to be, like we think it's going to be Jalen Moore, but I even just heard from one of the ESPN reporters for the Chiefs that maybe Josh Simmons, if he's healthy, is going to start. And so it's like, okay, well, if he's going to start, you might have just found your franchise guy left tackle. But if I was to rate the offensive lines today, I got to give it to the Chargers at number 1. This one might be surprising. I'm going to give the Broncos the second offensive line, not because I think your unit overall necessarily is better, but Garrett Bowles is better than any left tackle that we've had since Eric Fisher. So I'd give you guys the second spot. Chiefs have the 3 spot, and I think the Raiders are the last. I think Cap is going to be horrible. I think DJ Glaze is going to struggle. Yeah, you got a great center, but most of us have a good center.
Yeah. Here's the thing that, honestly, I'm not saying this to like dunk, but do you know the Broncos had the best offensive line in football last year? So, and do you know like Quinn Miners was an all-pro? Our offensive line is nasty. I agree. I'd give Chargers the top spot with a giant asterisk if Mekhi Becton stays healthy. If he does, that's going to be a really, really scary offensive line. But I think coming off 2 surgically repaired knees, missing several seasons already, I just don't think he will. But I think the Broncos are neck and neck right there. I chatted it to Graf. I don't know if he's got it there.
Oh, yeah. So what is this right here?
Well, just several, like this is a guy who ESPN reporter put it out there. It was a PFF report and the Ringer all ranked the Broncos as a top 2 offensive line in football. So I think there are folks.
Pass and run, yeah.
Yeah. So I think if you look at both aspects, the Broncos offensive line is sneaky good. This is just a screenshot I grabbed of and
I think Philly and Detroit would like to have a conversation with you, but I definitely think that the Denver Broncos offensive line played really well last year.
Yeah, and then, man, dude, the Raiders, Jackson Powers, whatever, dude, that video of him telling
hey, Jackson Powers Johnson, okay, get it right,
Ben. You're
Ben.
gonna know his name, man, because watching that video when he told AP he was going in the game, it got me actually hyped, and I can't stand the Raiders when he's just like, I went up to him and I was like, respectfully, coach, I'm playing center. And it was like, you watch the highlights. He's nasty, but Kappa is horrible, dude. He was 53 out of 58 guards who played last year. Like he's bad. Yeah. So I still think you're better than the Chiefs. Mahomes gets sacked 6 times on 0 blitzes, like 4-man all the time. Like we hit him 9 times in the game we played him when they didn't pull their starters. Your offensive line is garbage, Darce. It really is. So it goes Chargers, Broncos, Raiders, Chiefs.
Chargers, I'm going to keep this simple and sweet. Chargers have the best O-line by a landslide. I do believe that we have an underrated O-line, and I think we're going to be better this season. But I have to agree. I got to give Ben the number 2 spot. Denver has the number 2 offensive line. I think we have number 3. And I think the Kansas City's Chiefs offensive line is fucking terrible. And I think I think Patrick Mahomes is slammed on its neck 900 times this season.
If we just want to go like position, like who's got better players on the offensive line? Graf, you have the worst offensive line in the division. It's not even close.
How?
We've got 2 All-Pros. Trey Smith.
Wait, isn't one of them on Chicago now?
Calm down.
Whoa.
Trey Smith actually might not be an All-Pro, but I know Creed Humphrey's an All-Pro.
Humphrey definitely
and we've got Pro Bowlers all over the offensive line. Our center's better than yours. Our right guard's better than yours.
Your center's not, dude.
Our right tackle is better than yours.
I love that you said, Jack, that he's better than Jackson Powers. I love that. We're going to have this same conversation during the season.
Absolutely is.
And Darcy's going to be like, you know what? I was
Hey, at least our center can snap the football.
Dude,
Your
that's
center
true.
can't
But when
snap.
he
What?
snapped it, isn't he the one who's
Graf?
Yeah, do you remember again? You guys were coming back on the Black Friday game.
That wasn't on him. And it was his rookie season.
No.
Are you kidding me? Come on. Come on,
There
man.
was so much nasty work that was going on that whole time.
You just got a thing for his Johnson. I don't know what you're talking about. He is not better than Creed Humphrey.
Hey, yo. That was a rigged snap, Angel. Facts. It was a rigged snap. It was nasty work. But once again, we got some sneaky. Don't be shocked if our rookie, Caleb Rogers out of Texas Tech, snatches one of those guard spots or Jordan Meredith. And keep an eye on our young guy, Charles Grant, as well. the kid out of William and Mary, 3rd-round guy. I think this offensive line is only going to get better in due time. There are a lot of young guys on that, on that front line, but I love it though. But I think we all got the offensive line in, right?
Yeah.
To me, I'm flip-flopping Denver and Chargers. And the only reason of that is Denver did put up those numbers for both pass and run.
Yeah.
The Chargers, as much as I love this offensive line and what we did with it, problem is in the question mark, center. I would love to have Jackson Powers-Johnson or Creed Humphrey as my center, but we need to figure that out. That's why Zion Johnson, he did some snaps from there. Andre James, we got up from there because there is no way in hell that we're putting Bradley Bozeman in there when he was literally ranked last amongst centers last year.
Hey, love Andre.
It was
good
bad.
luck. Good luck with that. Let's get to the.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, bro.
And then I would honestly have, respectfully, putting the Chiefs at 3 and the Raiders.
Okay.
Because the Raiders have real good upside. You're not that far away.
Dude, but the way the Chargers are going to run the rock, man, I just think that offensive line is going to be nasty, dude. Like, why don't y'all do the tush push? You have you guys probably have like
maybe
2,500 pounds on one side.
Really done.
The ref blew the whistle, and it was called false start. Everybody on the planet saw it except for Darcy. This is fact.
I just saw a botch snap.
Darcy,
from your guy.
That was such a Shinesty response out of you when it comes to Jackson Powers-Johnson.
Nasty, disgusting work from our brother Darcy. Salute to Shinesty, man. Maybe we'll be wearing the draws here shortly. Salute to the chat. As always, we're almost here at an hour. Let's breeze through this defensive side of the football, you guys. I didn't expect this to take almost an hour, but we're having some fun. Ben, you have a few minutes over an hour or no?
Yeah, for you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's get to the defensive line here. Raiders, Max Crosby. We already know how good he is. Christian Wilkins, if healthy, could be a major addition to this D-line. He was hurt last season. He was our big free agency splash last year. Hopefully he's good to go. Adam Butler, we brought him back. The veteran has looked really good for us up to this point. And then Malcolm Kuntz is back after having a major 2023 year, but he sat out last year with the knee injury. I think that we have a sneaky D-line. Tyree Wilson, our former 7th-round pick. He'll be playing on the outside, inside. We have some other guys, Tonka Hemingway, JJ, some guys we brought in through the draft this year. I think our D-line is probably one of the strongest units of our team. You go to the Chiefs, George Karlaftis. This dude's a baller. I mean, the kid out of Purdue, stud. Chris Jones, we already know what he is, future Hall of Famer. Is your right defensive tackle right now going to be Mike Pennell Jr.? Darce?
He's 38.
Omar Norman Lott, who led college football in pressure rate. So I think
either a 38-year-old or an 18-year-old. Yep.
And then it's Mike Dana, right? Dana?
Or Charles Omenihu. Charles Omenihu or Ashton Gelati, the 3rd-round pick. So
yep. And he's a stud as well. You go over to Denver. This defense was phenomenal last season. You got Zach Allen, you got DJ Jones, John Franklin Myers, and then you got the stud Nick Bonito there as well. And you go over to the Chargers. Getting a little old over here, Jake. But you got Deshaun Hand. Is he going to be a starter for you right now?
Deshaun Hand will be a starter. Yep.
Okay, so you got him. You got Tart at nose tackle.
Tart, yep.
I always butcher this dude. Is it Tito?
Tito Ogbonia. Yep.
Okay, and then you got
him and Naquan Jones.
Okay, and you got Tully out there as well as a starter right now, right?
Khalil Mack is a starter. Tully is also a starter, but there's also going to be times where Kyle Kennard's going to want to come in.
Yeah, but and mind you, this is a sneaky group. I mean, Khalil Mack is just so versatile. I mean, I know he's up there in age, but
40 now.
I mean, he still play to run at a high clip. You can play linebacker. You can set the
More
edge.
available than Joey Bosa. Look what happened to Buffalo today.
But they still got Bud Dupree. They got Kyle Kennard. They got some guys, some rotational pieces. Jamari Caldwell, who I think is going to be a stud out of Oregon. Ben, how do you feel about the defensive lines? How do you rank them in the AFC West?
I mean, you guys are going to think this is a homer take, but the Chris Jones and probably Max are the best actual players. And so it's hard to not just be like they're 1 and 2. But if you take a look at sacks last year, the Denver Broncos have number 3 in Nick Bonito, number 12 in Jonathan Cooper, and number 22 in Zach Allen. And none of you guys have a guy in the top 20. So the Broncos had the most sacks last year of any other team. So I think you got to give it.
Pressures missed a ton of games, Ben. Malcolm Kuntz missed the entire season. Max missed a ton of games.
But I mean, it sounds like he's. Like I said, I'd take Max over anybody, and I'd take a healthy Christian Wilkinson, but it doesn't sound like he's gonna be. So I think I'd go Broncos just because they did it last year. And if Raiders are healthy, I'd probably swap the Raiders there. But I'd go. All of our defensive lines are great, man. So it's hard to not just say give it a 4-way tie, I guess, if we're gonna do that. But I'd go Broncos, Raiders, Chiefs, Chargers.
I'm gonna go Raiders, Max Crosby, Malcolm Kuntz, Christian Wilkins, if healthy. And once again, it sounds as though they're worried more about potentially that screw in his foot. They're just worried about it potentially breaking and needing another surgery. So they're just playing it safe with him right now. Once again, Pete Carroll did come out and say it's going to be a journey, but we got until August to get it right. Christian Wilkins is a veteran. He's one of the better defensive tackles in the NFL. He's for sure a top 7, top 10 defensive tackle. Raiders number 1. I'm going to go Denver number 2. I'm going to go Chargers number 3. I'm going KC number 4.
What kind of list is that?
Well, dude, Chris Jones is incredible, but you lost another All-Pro or Pro Bowl player there in the offseason. So other than Chris Jones, who you got on the defensive line who scares us?
Who do we
I like George Karlaftis too. I like him as well.
George Karlaftis, you brought back Charles Omenihu for dirt cheap. Now he's got some injury problems, but doesn't everyone?
How many times did you guys get to Jalen Hurts in the Super Bowl?
Which Super Bowl? That's the question.
Dude, you lost your top-rated defensive player in the Super Bowl.
I will tell you,
Tershawn Wharton. You got Mike
Tershawn Wharton is basically Mike Pennell.
Mike Pennell is 37 years old. So
and I love Mike Pennell. I'm glad that we have him back, but I think he's going to play second fiddle to Omar Norman-Lott. Here's the correct defensive line rankings. I think I would give it to the Broncos, but the Chiefs led the NFL in sacks the year before the Broncos did. And so I think if they can just get home a little bit more, we could easily flip-flop. But as of right now, Broncos, Chiefs, Raiders, Chargers. Chargers are by far and away the least talented group in the division.
Read my mind.
And I honestly think that
wait. You got the Raiders at 3?
Yes, easily. Easily.
But
you guys
honestly, you look like that graph.
What?
You
that's
look like that
correct.
graph, but you guys are literally neck and neck between the Chiefs. You are.
May 27th was the day this AFC West shit show ended. May 27th, 9:03.
We made it
Our
3
best
episodes.
players, Chris Jones is better than Max Crosby, and George Karlaftis is better than your second edge rusher. And I'm not wrong.
Did everybody go or no?
I literally am saying,
Jake, please. Matter of fact, you're going to echo the same sentiment that Darcy had. So this is nasty.
Well, I'm sorry, man, but look, he read the same thing as I did. And look, I'm not even hating at the fact that the Charger was 4 because the reason why is
I gave his team last and he agrees with me.
No, because here's the thing. Had we not let Poona Ford go to the other side of LA and go to the Rams, we probably would have been at least like 3. But because we let that happen, I don't know what I'm going to get out of Naquan.
Still be at 4, Jake.
It's going to be rotation. That's it.
Well, you dodged a bullet letting Bosa go. It sounds like he strained his
already hurt
today.
Oh no,
dude, so.
And he's going to be missing foreseeable time. And I'm
That's
like,
crazy, dude.
Woo!
This is nasty. Salute the DB on the 5-hour special, my brother. I appreciate you. Let's get to the linebacking core here. I'm gonna keep it a buck here, you guys. We're at the bottom of the list in this this position for sure. Our starters right now: Devin White, Tommy Eichenberg, Landon Roberts, the veteran that just came in from Pittsburgh. Devin White is a question mark. You know, a guy that is a former top 10 pick. Won a Super Bowl in Tampa Bay. I think he was an All-Pro one year, Pro Bowl guy. But once again, I don't know who. He's not a guy that's going to play the run at a high clip. He's definitely not good in coverage at this point. He's kind of a guy that's going to get out to the quarterback. You look at the Kansas City Chiefs. They have. I love this linebacker group. Drew Tranquill. You got Nick Bolton, signed him to a massive deal. Leo Chenal, a guy that I love a lot coming out of college. And then another guy in Jeffrey Bossa that I think is going to be a stud for you guys out of Oregon. We can go across Cam Jones and so on and so forth. Denver. This group is nasty. You're looking at Alex Singleton. You got Dre Greenlaw, and you have Jonathan Cooper there. And then you can go. Even the rotational guys. Drew Sanders was a guy I was high on out of Arkansas. He just hasn't put it all together yet.
Tons of injuries, man.
Yeah, Jonah Ellis, Q Robinson. This is a disgusting linebacking core out there in Denver. And then, Jim Harbaugh and company, they got Junior Colson, Deion Henley, Khalil Mack, we talked about him, and then Tully. He's an edge linebacker. They'll play these guys off ball, on ball, so on and so forth. Who is your starting guys? Is it Henley and Colson?
It's going to be Diane Henley and Junior Colson. Expect Junior Colson to literally have a breakout season this season. We got Delshawn Phillips, and we got Troy Dye.
Troy Dye is nice, and you got Denzel Perriman, the veteran, as well.
We do. Yep. We brought him back on a small deal. So yeah.
All you guys, what defense do you guys line up? Are you guys 3-4 or 4-3? I should know that. I know Broncos play a 3-4.
We never kind of look. We're more 4-3.
Jesse Minter is 4-3.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep it real here. I think you guys all have great linebacking cores. I'm gonna go Denver number 1. This could be interchangeable at number 2. This is no knock to either one of you guys. I'll just go. Man, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs here at 2, Chargers at 3, Raiders at 4. I don't think our linebacking core lines up with you guys. I think this year we're expecting a ton from some veterans, and then we're expecting a ton from some of these young guys in year 2 and year 1 to potentially materialize. We got a guy in Lindenberg out of Minnesota in the 7th round. I don't even know if he makes this roster. I'm hoping he does. Tommy Eichenberg, Amari Gaynor, so on and so forth. But I got to keep it real. No bias in this here, you guys. I think we have the worst linebacking core in the division. Jake, what you got?
Yeah, I would agree. The same exact list as you do. Denver, Chiefs, Chargers, and the Raiders from there. I think because, Tommy Eichenberg, I loved watching him at Ohio State, and I think he's a very good tackler. So you have that, but you're gonna need somebody to literally be eyes on the field as a middle linebacker. You will, and who knows? It's up for grabs. But yeah,
Ben, what you got?
Yeah, if you're talking outside, because we play a 3-4,
I know
it's outside, it's weird. But if you're just talking middle guys, let's go. I think the Broncos ceiling, we haven't seen Dre Greenlaw play since the Super Bowl. And so an Achilles injury is hard to come back from. If he hits, bro, we'll be number 1.
Well, he played a little bit last year, but you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
We haven't seen him in meaningful snaps. And then Alex Singleton blew his ACL in game 3 and then played an entire half of football on one ACL. So if he comes back again, I think we're 1, but because it's unproven, let's go Chiefs. Cause dude, all those dudes in free agencies I wanted. So let's go Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, but the caveat, we could jump up, and then Raiders. I think
it could be a 1A, 1B situation with the Chiefs for sure.
Yeah. I was going to agree with you, Ben. I think it's Chiefs, but I'd actually put you guys at 2 just because I think the Greenlaw is better than anyone that the Chargers have, no offense. And then you put Chargers at 3 and then Raiders at 4. And the only reason that I'm so confident to say the Chiefs are number 1 is because you could look through 1 through 3. I don't even think Jeffrey Boss is going to play in year 1.
And that's a good problem to have. That's a great problem to have.
I think just 1 through 3, our linebackers are just better.
Yeah. Because I think, Ben, when you guys play 3-4, the reason of that is because you guys have run stuffing nose tackles up front that you're allowing linebackers to go in and act like edges.
Yeah.
So,
you guys, we have no cover linebacker at this point. We're hoping that one of these guys can get the ball. I know Tommy just came down with a pick on Geno at OTAs, which is great. There's no pads. It's just pretty much instilling this offense. But I'm hoping that maybe he can somehow, some way, potentially develop it to a sideline guy. But that's just not his skill set. Ohio State's a thumper. He plays the run well, so on and so forth. But I'm hoping Amari Gaynor, you guys, keep an eye on Amari Gaynor. That is a guy that we call him Ferrari over here. He's a physical specimen, former North Carolina, Florida State product, played linebacker, former edge rusher as well, plays off ball, plays on ball. This guy can be a stud for us. I'm hoping that he can translate. And I'm hoping that Devin White, there's no guarantee money on his contract. It's a 1-year deal. Former Tom Brady guy, spy tech guy from Tampa Bay. He had a rough year last year. Didn't play it down for Philly. Went to the Texans, I believe, and played 7 games and didn't really do too much out there. But I think we all kind of got it right with the linebacking core. Let's get to the cornerback position. Once again, man, this is can we just get my team out the way real quick? Because I think we're at the bottom of the barrel right now. Oh, well, Chargers. But
wouldn't it have been cool if you guys had a guy like Nate Hobbs, who's just really good?
Here we go with this shit.
Listen, man, don't disrespect Tarheeb Still and Cam Hart, bro.
I love Cam. I'm a Notre Dame guy. I love Cam Hart. But once again,
Jackson.
This is the reason why I think the Raiders and Chargers are at the bottom of this division is because there's a ton of unproven talent, right? I love Jacorian Bennett. This is a guy out of Maryland, former 4th-round guy with the Raiders that had a shoulder injury last year. Before that, he was locked down. This is a guy that could be a stud, but he's still young, going into year 3, coming off of an injury. But once again, you got Pete Carroll in the building, a DB whisperer, right? You got who else? Who else do we have out there? DeCameron Richardson, Mello Dotson. Isaiah Palomau. Well, you want to just do DBs as a whole? We can just do DBs.
DBs as a whole.
Okay. Then that'll maybe change a little something. Jacorian Bennett, DCam, Mello Dotson. You're very familiar with him. Darcy, Jeremy Chin. I love this dude's game. He was a Commander last year. We signed him to a 2-year deal, $8 million per. I think this was a great steal for the Raiders. Lonnie Johnson Jr., Trey Taylor, a guy I'm very high on out of Air Force coming into year 2. He would have played for us a ton last year, but he had a knee injury. They sat him down a little bit. Jonathan Sutherland, another safety we brought in from Seattle. Chris Smith, Thomas Harper, Eric Stokes, a guy that was a former first-round guy for Green Bay, was a great product out there at Georgia. After year 1, injuries just derailed his career. He's still really young. Pete Carroll's really high on him. Darian Porter, 3rd-round guy out of Iowa State that I'm really excited about. Former wide receiver, converted to corner. Once we talked about it last week, this is a Richard Sherman type situation. Doesn't have a ton of experience at the corner spot. You see what Richard Sherman and Pete Carroll put together out there in Seattle. Darnay Holmes at this point is scary to me. Is our starting nickel. Sam Webb, Caillou Blue Kelly, Greedy Vance Jr. You go over to the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, these guys, they got some dogs. Trent McDuffie, all-pro guy. Jalen Watson. They got Jaden Hicks, Deion Bush, Glendon Miller, a guy that was a ball hawk in Maryland. I forgot to hit you up, Darcy, about this kid. Do some tape breakdown on this guy. He is a stud out of Maryland, bro. Ball hawk. That was a sneaky move by you guys. Brian Cook, Mike Edwards, Major Williams, Christian Bolton, Noah Williams, the stud out of Cal, who's going to be a baller. I mean, honestly, you got Kamari Connor, Darius Rush, and a ton of other guys. Kansas City has a phenomenal cornerback and safety group. You go look at the creme de la creme of this division, the Denver Broncos. I mean, I don't even need to say too many names. You just say Patrick Surtain, one of the greatest corners in football right now. You got Riley Moss, a stud. He dealt with an injury last year. He's going to be back this year. He's a baller. Jahdae Barron. I know you guys thought it was a bad pick. I'm telling you now, it hurts my soul to say this, but this dude is going to be an all-pro talent out of Texas. You got Jaquan McMillan, Reese Taylor, Chris Abrams-Drain, Josh Pickett, Sam Franklin Jr., even your rotational guys, P.J. Locke, Damari Mathis, Quentin Newsome. There's a ton of guys out there. I think this is the
Talanoa Hufanga, Brandon Jones. Yep. Exactly.
There you go. Brandon Jones, Hufanga. I'm not even going to debate who's number 1 in this division. You go look at the Chargers, Dante Jackson, Derwin James, when healthy, is one of the greatest safeties in football, but he's hurt a lot, but he's still a stud. What is it? Alohi Gilman, I believe.
Alohi Gilman. We got Elijah Molden. I mean, that kid.
Stud.
Oh God,
stud.
Tarheeb Still, Cam Hart.
Yep.
We also get Benjamin St. Juice.
RJ Mickens. Tony Jefferson.
Tony Jefferson. At times, Jasir Taylor could be serviceable. But this is an opportunity for a lot of these guys up and on the bottom. I mean, when we got Jordan Oladokin and Jalen Jones and Amani Johnson, like these are opportunities for guys to really come in and be specialists either in the pass or just be physical on the run. So, there's a lot of room from there for a lot of improvement.
I think it's honestly Denver, Kansas City, 1A, 1B, Chargers they're at the 3 spot, and then the Raiders. Once again, a lot of unproven talent. I think that Pete Carroll is going to mold some of these guys, and they could be one of the better units that we have down the line. I need to see it. But I think Pete Carroll is going to turn into these safeties, just the DBs as a whole. This is going to be one of our strong suits at some point, but I'm just going off of right now, you guys. I got to keep it real. We're at the bottom.
Richard Sherman, 154th pick in the overall draft, and that's wild, dude. So
to me, Tariq Woolen. I mean, you can go down a line of these guys that he picked up. Yeah.
So right now you are at the bottom. Chiefs and Broncos at the top. We have the best. DB
1A, 1B for sure.
Yep, for sure. And then Chargers. But let's see what Pete Carroll gets out of that squad, man.
Darce, what you got?
I might be it is 1A, 1B. I would give the edge to the Chiefs just because I think overall we just have more, and it's because of our safety group. It's
And a
not
great
just
DC. You guys have two of the greatest
Yeah.
DCs in football.
but I think if we want to include our defensive backs as a whole, I think we have an edge just because we have more depth at safety than you guys do. But again, it's like 1A, 1B, and I think it's Chargers followed by the Raiders.
Yeah, easy. Special teams, you guys, the Raiders are the GOATs. We're always the GOATs. They use their legs more than anybody in football. So, I think we have the best punter / field goal kicker in football. I mean, can we all agree on this?
No.
I honestly
No?
don't even know who these people are.
Our kicker is significantly better. Harrison Butker's one of the best kickers in football.
And then don't forget about Dicker the kicker.
Dick of the
We
kicker.
can forget about him, but we can't forget about Harrison
I mean,
Butker. Harrison Butker won us like 3 games last year. We needed him.
Yeah.
I mean, we're
When he's not forcing his wife to clean the kitchen, he's a pretty good kicker.
I'm gonna get Justin Tucker.
left.
Like we're getting Justin Tucker back. We're bringing him back and making him.
You better
great
watch
again.
those Denver massage parlors. I'll tell you that.
Yep.
Yo, salute once again to everybody here in the building. We appreciate you guys for rocking. This is the second show, right?
Third.
Third,
Right,
Third
third,
of the
yeah.
off season. Third of the off season. We appreciate you guys as always. Positional rankings. I think that we all pretty much kept it a buck. I mean, there was some few lapses in judgment from Ben and Jake and Darcy here. I was the only one that kept it really solid this entire time. But next week, we talked about it last week. You guys want to do the schedule?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun. But let's dedicate an hour and a half, maybe if we can, because
Yeah.
that's going to
Make
take
it
some
work.
time.
Yep.
I want to kind of get into detail of why I think we're going to win and lose these certain games. So we'll break that down real quick before we get out of here. Fupa says AFC West, the nastiest division of football.
Facts.
That talk, my brother, talk. I think this year, man, outside of us having 3 teams in the playoffs last year, this is going to be a lot more competitive this year with the Raiders improving in the offseason in terms of not only, the roster, but the head coach, the running backs coach, Chip Kelly in the building, Patrick Graham coming back. I think we're going to be good. But, man, salute to all my brothers, man. Real quick, let's start with Jake, man. Plug away. Let everybody know where to follow you at, bro.
All right. You want everything Chargers content. I know that obviously we're all division rivals up from here, but check out Chargers Syndicate, guys, and also my every day sports show, the Snake Sports Talk Show as well. Weeknights for 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific, guys. That's where you can tune in. I got everything, all sports talk, and I'm real and unbiased on it.
Support my brother Jake, man. Go over there and run those numbers up. Ben, let him know where to go follow you in that nasty Raider video.
Speaking of real and unbiased, can I interest you in some Sports Talk Denver? Yeah, hit me up on YouTube. Dude, Graf, your guys are actually super nice, man. Like, even when I dunk on the Raiders, they're like, you're wrong, but they support me, and yeah, love it, man.
You know what, man? Good people love good people. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And I think that people can sense, I think Darcy's the one that gets the most.
Oh yeah, dude. All my people hate Graf.
I'll tell you what though, Ben. I ran into a lot of people here in Denver, and they love my all sports show, Dan. So I'm loving my second home in Denver.
But Darcy just gets the nasty.
Oh.
comments. And, he's a chief.
They
so-
hate us because they ain't us.
Oh, here we go.
They hate you because of the punchable face, bro. Like,
Talk!
I know you
haven't
beat
gotten
me up.
I haven't gotten
He's
one
not
Justin
that
Bieber
control
comment yet. So
Fupa says, I actually enjoy watching Ben shows and peep them almost as much as I do with Graf. Salute to Fupa.
dude,
Well, do us a
that's
favor,
awesome,
man. Go pull up on Darcy. Go pull up on Jake as well and support our brothers, man. Once again, the shit talk is going to be real when real football comes around. We're going to have some fun. And I promise you guys, I swear on everything I love, at some point this year, I don't care what y'all say, we are going to find a way for all of us to come together and do a show.
Dude, let's go to Brazil. Did we get any super
Let's do
chats
it.
tonight? Can we
Let's
go
do
to
it.
Brazil on the super chats?
fund the Brazil trip,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna go down there.
Hey,
Guys, that would be
the way my
wild.
record is set up, I can't really leave the country like that. But let me work on a few things, and we'll be there soon. Okay, you know what I mean. But
Does Brazil have ice? Okay.
Darcy, man, let everybody know where to follow you at, brother.
You guys can find me on YouTube at KC Sports Report. I want to hear all of the Raiders fans talk that shit. And if you guys are even half as good as you say that you're going to be this year, it should be entertaining. But I think next week it's going to get aggressive. Even though it's not actual football, we're going over the schedule. It's going to get a little aggressive. It's going to get rowdy. You guys want to be back here. I think Tuesday night, fellas. I think we're going to just do Tuesday.
Yeah.
So I want to say this. I think the best neutral, I mean, it's not neutral for Darcy, but from where we're all located, geographically, I think we should all try to find a way to link up at KC. I mean, it's literally in the middle.
I'm down for it.
Ben, you're in Michigan, right?
Yeah. Born and raised in Denver, and then moved here during COVID. Yeah.
So Jake, you're in Colorado.
Yep.
Vegas would be easy for you.
We could even do Texas. We could maybe Texas too.
Well, look, if you guys come here, you guys have a place to stay. We can just we can do it at the house. You know what I mean? So
that'd be so fun.
So
bro, when you guys did the whole live streaming up at Ahern, bro, it was A++, bro. I love every moment of it, man. You know what?
But I think we need to do it somewhere where all of our fan bases can come out and support.
No, I agree. Yeah. I mean, I know you got Cody and all that for the burgers, bro. But
my guys, man.
Thank you, bro.
But Vegas is that's a layup. If we go out there, you guys, we'll have a place, we'll have a hotel, we'll be set up out there. Or once again, we can go to KC. Darcy, you know some people out there that have some venues that maybe we can go and do a show?
Yeah, I could look at, and we could even maybe set it up in the Arrowhead parking lot. That could
I would love that. I would love
be something too.
Bro,
yeah.
Dude, that would be awful. If we went to Vegas, I've always wanted to have bros who had my back if I got in a fight. Would you guys have my back? I've never been in a fight. Can you tell I've never actually punched a man?
You gotta understand. I spent all 29 years in Vegas. I know where.
Let's go to Vegas, guys. I've never
on
it.
Raph,
I have one and I'm in trouble.
Raph, we play you guys in the final week of the season in Vegas. Let's just all go out to Vegas. Final week of the season.
Raph, tell me if I'm wrong. If we go down in the strip, then keep your hands in your pockets, bro. Your hands in your pockets.
Wait,
and nobody would mess with Ben. Nobody would mess with Ben. Everybody would love you, man. But man, 17. But see, I would want to go earlier just because. What if one of our teams is not fighting for anything?
True. I think probably very strong possibility in week 7.
Ben. but
it's got to be decent weather up in Vegas because you know how heated it is.
I wanted to head out to Denver at some point too. I've been out there a few times.
Oh yeah,
I would let it go out there at some point. But we have a Thursday night game with you guys though, right?
Yeah, we play Thursday. Yep.
Yeah, so that's a weird, weird timing. Yeah. But we'll
Dude,
talk.
I would roll out and meet you though. For sure.
Bro, we need to do that. Like this year, it's mandatory. It's mandatory that we meet up and we'll figure it out. Because I know I'm going to be moving and I got some plans, you guys. I'm going to update you guys behind the scenes.
Yeah, do it.
I'm working on something major right now to the point where I may be able to travel to every game back and forth and cover.
Dude, the Chiefs guy who just robbed banks, or are you going to? Because he went to all the games.
I know a guy.
Yeah.
We're working on something, but you know what? It may not be ready this season, honestly. Me and Wasted are working on it behind the scenes. It may be ready to go next year, but you never know. It may speed up, so on and so forth. Salute to everybody. Once again, you guys, thank you so much for making these shows what they are. Once again, we're going to start getting you guys a lot more involved in the chat when football's around. With 4 people on screen, we're just trying to stay in our bag. It's difficult to get so supers are definitely appreciated because once again, we can't get to every comment. But the banter back and forth is difficult to read everything. But we love you guys, everybody, non-commenters, commenters, subscribers, non-subscribers, super chatters, non-super chatters. We appreciate you. Salute to the Bronco fans in the building, the Chiefs fans, the Charger fans, and the Raiders. I see you guys heavy in the building. We love y'all. We will see you guys next week for week 4. The AFC West, the new AFC West show. We are out. One.